Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Friday, guys! Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Friday, guys! It's Friday. What do you guys have planned? I think it's going to be a seafood type of weekend for myself. Guys, you may hear some music in the background. It's an app for dogs' separation anxiety. The struggle is real. So I'm really trying to help my dog break out of this separation anxiety. So please bear with me if you can hear that music in the background. I want to speak to you guys in regards to 15 reasons on why God has removed or He is currently removing people out of your life to the point of no return. And then I will also speak on someone emailed me asking me for my opinion, all caps, opinion on how do you know if God has delayed or denied, and can our actions even cause a delayed or a denied situation? Absolutely, it sure can. I'll speak on that. But let me start really quickly with 15 reasons and why God may be removing or have removed people out of your life to the point of no return. Number one, the season is up. The season is just up. It doesn't even mean that these people were never supposed to be in your life. It just means that the season is up. And it's important for us to understand that when God is trying to remove people or things because the season is up, our refusal can literally cause us to miss the next shift. So that's number one. Number two, there is no reciprocity. There is no reciprocity. Chosen ones, you guys know, we're naturally givers. We're naturally servers. We're naturally showing up for people. And so we don't take count because it's just naturally what we do. But at some point, God will bring it back to your attention when He's revealing to you and giving you insight on why He is removing people from your life. Think about it. I always say, make a list, right? We're not keeping count, but if you really want your answer, take a piece of paper out, draw a line down the middle, pros and cons for this person being in your life. Look at how much you supported them. You've been there. What have they added to your life? Again, we don't take notes, but when God brings it back to your attention, it's just like, you know what? Lord, you're right. Because I done did this, that, and third. It is like, where is the reciprocity? There is no reciprocity. So He's removing that out of your life because the people that He's ushering into your life, there is going to be reciprocity. Remember, reciprocity doesn't have to mean that you do this thing so I return it in this exact way. You may be able to benefit them in one way. They benefit you in a completely separate way. They can add value to your life in some kind of way, right? And these are the people that you need for destiny season. Number three, they were always counterfeits. They were counterfeits. You picked them up along the way. Maybe you were just in a very low season. Somehow they just crept into your life, whatever, but they're counterfeits. They could have been fun. They could have been cute. They could have been fine. It is what it is, but they're counterfeits, and counterfeits cannot stay. So if God is removing counterfeits out of your life, let God remove the counterfeits so He can bring your God-ordained soul tribe. Number four, or number five. You know what? I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop counting but it's 15. Just work with your girl. People who are always the victim. They're always the victim, right? Everybody's doing them wrong. God is doing them wrong. It's everybody's fault except their own. Always the victim. Next one. Constant drama. Every time they call you, honey, you can be having a great day, but after that conversation, you are drained, especially my empaths. You are drained. There's always drama. Granted, we're human, so we're going to have some kind of drama in our lives at times, but I'm talking about always. There's always drama. Next thing, their refusal to grow and elevate. Their refusal to grow and elevate. They're just stuck. And they've been stuck there for a very long time. And listen, that's none of your business, right? That's none of your business. You focus on your growth. So it's not your job to belittle or like try to make them realize like you need to come on up. right? No. That has nothing to do with you. That's between them and God. The point I'm making is these are the people that God are removing from out of your life. Their refusal to grow can hold you back, especially if these are people that are you're in with maybe like romantic type relationships, because it's like I'm trying to get to the penthouse. You're stuck down here at the basement and you refuse to even listen, your girl gotta go. Your girl gotta go, right? I want everything, and I mean absolutely everything that God has for me. Point blank periods. Next, just ungrateful, honey. Ungrateful. God have sent a person into your life to be there for you, to have your back, to support you when the majority in the people in this world, probably 98% will not do that, right? So God has sent you rare people who really have your, and you're just ungrateful. You're ungrateful. These are the people who will always focus on the things that you didn't do versus the things that you did do. So you could have held them down 100 times. You may have missed the mark one time, honey, and they're going to ride you for that one time. And just ungrateful. Just ungrateful. They gotta go. Next, they don't respect or honor you. Listen, chosen ones, you're a prize. You're a gift. Point blank period. So if God brings you into somebody's life, they need to respect and honor you. Respect and honor you. You are not average, so don't let people treat you as such. I don't care who you are. I don't care how fond I am of you. I don't care if I even love you. If you disrespect and dishonor me, you got to go, because I know I'm going to add value to your life. Disrespect me one time, I'll see you when Jesus come home. Point blank period. Next one. They're draining you. I guess I can kind of tie in with the other stuff, philodrama or whatever, but they're just draining you. They're just draining. You know those people. You know those. Honey, it's always something. They're draining you. Next, these manipulative mindsets and mind games. Narcissists typically play these type of games. It's the tit for tat. Listen. Nobody got time for that foolishness in 2025, right? You could have maybe played those games 10, 15 years ago when you had nothing else to do. We got destiny work to do. Nobody got time for that manipulative tit for tat. You got to go. Point blank period. Next, you're disloyal. I spoke on that earlier, but whatever. You're disloyal, honey. Go find somebody else to do it. Point blank period. You're selfish. Next one. Selfish people. These are the people who only want things for themselves. Like, these are the people who are just, everything is about them. It's about them. It's about them, right? Right. Nothing is about you. Let me give you guys an example of this. So I cut somebody off, right? Well, I've tried, child, listen, I've tried, right? It's hard for people to leave a chosen one alone, right? Because they already know they're not going to get the second one. And so I was giving this person a list, right? Because I'm pretty good at communication. So I gave a detailed list so you can understand why I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off because, one, you're not a great friend, right? But let me explain to you why you're not a great friend. Because this, that, and the third, right? I gave a whole detailed list. Do you know when this person responds? They respond back telling me how wonderful I am. Well, I can't lose you as a friend because you always have my back. I can't lose you as a friend because this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't even respond because, so basically I'm telling you why I'm cutting you off, because you don't add value to my life and you're ungrateful, this, that, and the third. Your response to me is telling me how great I am. I know I'm great to you. I'm trying to get you to understand why I don't see that you're great for me. Selfish people will only recognize what you can do for them. They can't even tap into why they are not great people. Well, they're not great people, but they can't even tap into realizing that they're selfish because they've been selfish all their lives. Listen, let God remove who God wants to remove. Point blank, period. This is not a season where we can have our mind all screwed up about people. It needs to be a cleared freeway. Let me just tell you, when your soul tribe arrives, there are no complaints. There's reciprocity. There's natural respect. There's natural. Child, when you start encountering your soul tribe, meaning the people that God, all caps, God brings into your life, it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place and season to be in. Number one, users. I mean, that can tie in, I guess, but I mean, users. Listen, chosen ones, you're chosen. You have a light, right? People gravitate towards you most times, not all, most times for the wrong reasons. There's fruit on your life. There's abundance in your life of all sorts. You're chosen. Okay? So typically as chosen people, again, sometimes we miss it. Now we're not, listen, let me clarify something about chosen people. I don't care how big your heart is. I don't care how much you are a server. I don't care how much you are a doer. You are not a fool. People may think you're a fool because, see, they think that you're missing the mark. They may have intentions thinking that they're using you, but what they don't know is that you're taking notes, right? You're taking notes. So this is why when chosen people cut you off, you can never return. See, most people in life, if they cut you off, they let you kind of come back in, back and forth, back and forth. When a chosen person decides to cut you off, they cut you off for life because we take notes. And even though we may be missing something, and we won't miss it for long, right? We won't miss it for long. We may miss it because, I don't know, our mind is somewhere else, or maybe we're working on some kind of assignment. And so we don't really, like, something else have our attention. So we're not really like tapped in. But then what happens is God brings it back to your attention. Boom, all of a sudden. He'll bring it to you, and then he'll put it in your face, and you'll be like, oh, well, hold up. How did I even miss that? All right, you're cut off for life, period. So don't get it twisted, my selfish people, my users, my this, that, and the third. Chosen people are naturally servers, so don't think you're special. We help everybody, right? But we are tapped in to know that we are only to be helping the people that God requires us to help, and people who are not users, takers, manipulators, all that stuff. So once God brings it to our attention, honey, we cut you off for life. And then you yourself have to deal with God. And you're going to hit a dry season. He's going to dry everything up to teach you a lesson. Okay. Last one. People who lack accountability. Honey. Like, why are you mad? Because I cut you off for something you did. Make it make sense. So people, and that's just one example, but people who always lack accountability. We are grown. Stop like sit in your accountability. So again, we ain't got time to sit here and train you. We don't have time to sit here and help you. No. That's between you and God. But we're cutting you off. Point blank, period. All right, really quickly. Delayed or denial. Now, my good sis who emailed me, now this is all my opinion. We all have a different walk. We all hear from God differently. We all have a different calling. All that's good stuff. Now, so I'll speak for me personally. I'm trying to think of a time where I've been actually denied. I can't think of I won't say that I've never been denied, if you will, but there's nothing sticking out right now. Because usually for me, when I hear from God, I know that I know, even if nobody else believes it or nobody else can't see it, it's so heavy and so profound in my spirit that I can't shake it. So usually when God shows me something, it has always manifested through God. I've been in alignment to receive it. Now, there's still one thing that I'm at a toss-up, right? And God will make it clear, but I'm at a toss-up if it's delayed or denied. I think it may be denied, until God makes it clear. The only reason why I say that is it's been a long time, but it still hasn't left my spirit. Okay, that's going to be a pivotal point to recognize. Is it in your spirit or is it in your flesh? Flesh means that you want it for yourself. God never even gave you the download. It's just something that maybe you want because you like to do it, or you love something maybe you created, and so you locked so tight onto that thing that if God came back and shifted a little bit, you're going to lose your mind. But I've learned with God, you have to be fluid, because even as a visionary, there's things that God have shown me. And when they didn't manifest through God and I'm in alignment to receive it, it didn't look the same. So it was like the promise itself was, but it didn't look the same. So you have to be fluid enough that if something arrives to you and it looks different, or it doesn't look exactly how you saw it, you have to be fluid enough to know that, okay, God brought that, but maybe it was for a different purpose. God did release it, but maybe that person was never meant to be in my life in a romantic way. Instead, God placed them in my life just to open a certain door. That was it. So you see? So he made you a promise. He showed you people who may be involved in that promise. You yourself, or even the enemy, could have had you creating an idea about the person or about the thing or about the place. So you created this idea around the promise. So when the door opens, it looks different. So the person really is not to be in a romantic relationship with you. Instead, they're here to open the door. So if you're not tapped in, you will see it as that thing was a lie. It never manifested. That's not true. That's not true. The promise is, but it's not the details that you thought, if that makes sense. And that can be very, very, I wouldn't say frustrating. That can be like kind of disheartening when you really, really lock on to something, but it's okay, because what will happen is when God really comes in and accelerates that thing, you're going to be happy that your vision of it, or whatever you created, your little story or whatever, you're going to be so excited about what God really does that it's not going to, your little disheartening part is not going to even matter, because that's how big the blessing is going to be. So you're going to have to just shake and release that. And it's going to be easy to do that, because by this point, God will already bring in the God-ordained people, the God-ordained this, that, and the third. So you won't even be focused on the little stuff that you created in your mind years ago, if that makes sense. So ultimately, again, I would say that if I had to really, really boil it down to one thing, I will say that if it's a denial for whatever reason, okay, first be honest and transparent and tap in and ask yourself, did God ever even gave me that idea, or was that me? And there's nothing wrong with our own goals, dreams, and desires now. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I'm speaking about God ordained things. If it's your own goals, dreams, and desires, sometimes you're going to have to kind of back it. Not to say God wouldn't really, but God is responsible for backing God ordained things. Okay, so was that you or was it God? Ask God. Literally, ask God. God, can you please reveal to me, was that you or is it me? Ask him, Lord, is this delayed or is it denial? But I'm going to tell you, ask for strength, honey, to guard your little heart. Because if it's something that you're really locked on and he reveals to you that is denial, like, you might be in your feelings for a bit, but at least you have your answers where you can free yourself and go on and get the things that he always had designed for you. If it is a denial at some point, and it's going to have to take for you to fully surrender it, meaning you're going to have to say, God, if you reveal to me that it's a denial, please just give me grace with my little hurt feelings. But you're going to have to fully surrender it. Because if you don't fully surrender and you're saying, God, reveal it to me, and if you really still want it in your head, you're going to fight against every answer God gives you. So God may clearly give you some kind of confirmation that it's a denial, that it's a denial. And because you want it so bad, you're going to fight against it. So you'll be struggling and toggling with that answer, even though God already gave you the answer. So he may have already given you the answer, but if you're struggling with it, then it is what it is. If it is a denial, once you fully surrender, he'll give you closure in the spiritual realm. Your spirit will no longer long for it. Your spirit will no longer desire it. Again, now fully surrender, because if you're not fully surrendered, the enemy is still going to use that thing, familiar spirits, all that stuff to keep you all entangled. One of the, in my opinion, I always tell people, one of the best things you can do is ask God, again, you got to be prepared. Ask God that if something is not from him, remove it from your life, meaning remove the desire from you. If it's delayed, and yes, your question was, can we cause it? Child, I know there's some things that I'm supposed to already be walking in, honey. But me getting ahead to go, I try not to do it anymore. I've really disciplined myself, and I've learned that no matter what I do, and I run ahead to God like a chicken with my head cut off just because I see it. I've learned that no matter how much I see and how much I want it and how much I get ahead of God, honey, nothing happening. In fact, I've delayed things because of that. So I've learned, getting ahead of God can absolutely delay our blessings, as well as lagging behind God. If it's delayed, again, it's going to sit in your spirit. You done ask God 1,000 times to remove this thing, honey, because it's too frustrating to keep like having to wait on it. You've asked God to remove this thing, this desire. Years and years and years and years have passed, but that thing is still in your spirit. Now, at times, it may not be as heavy and profound as other times. There may be times where he have you in another season and like he know the blessing will still find you, but then he needs you to be moving in purpose and calling somewhere else. So it's still in your spirit, but it's not all like that feeling of like intense anxiety or whatever, but it's still something in your spirit that when God brings it back to you in a different season, it's still there. So that's my thoughts on delayed versus denial. Also with denials, once you fully surrender and he give you closure about it in the spiritual realm, you will start to see what he had for you. You will start to see a quick acceleration of those things. And the reason why they will accelerate really quickly is because they were always waiting on you, but you had to come to a place of fully surrender where he can release it from you before he sent in the new things. But now that you're at a place where you're free to receive it, then those things like those blessings will pour in as if like you turned your phone off and then the text messages start like when you turn the phone back on and the text messages start like accelerating. Those blessings start to accelerate because you're now in a place to receive it and you're not blocked any longer with a counterfeit or something that was never meant from God. So you will start to see the manifestations come in. This is important because what will happen is if you refuse to give up some kind of idea that was never meant from God, you won't see what he really has for you. And so a lot of people hang on to the idea in fear of, if I let go of this idea, let it be, if it was from God or not from God, if I let go of this idea, I'm going to let go of one of the things that I've been holding on to for so long that help me to be hopeful and help me to think this, that, and the third. So you're holding on to it, but really what you're doing is you're blocking what's really to come, which is way better. Like I had a moment like that recently in the last couple of months. It's not that I didn't want to like let the thought of it go, if you will, because I know God had been clear. So it's not that I didn't want to let the thought of it go, but I had kind of got comfortable in that thing. But through obedience, I let it go. And honey, what God brought in, I mean, swiftly after that, it 50 times better. 50 times better. But if I had held on to something out of comfortability, I would have never been able, because God ain't going to usher certain things in when you got things in blocking it. So release what he's asking you to release, because that's going to be the only way that he can bring in what's really meant for your life. People think they can hold on to things, people, and places and things that, okay, I can have this car blocking my garage. So God, when God decides to bring something, he'll just move the car out the way himself and bring in the new car. That is not, child, no. Well, I can't say that. Always, I'm not God now. I know for my life, honey, he required me to move things first, even when I didn't even see how or when or what the next thing would be. It's more about having faith to trust and believe that he has something better. It's more about being obedient to your instructions, regardless of what you think the outcome is going to be. So, is it still in your spirit, sis? Do you have closure in the spiritual realm, meaning your spirit is at peace and you've released it? Or is it still a longing in your spirit for it? So again, sometimes God shows us things. It doesn't always mean that it's the season for it. Sometimes he will show you something and keep it in your spirit. And it can be 10 years later, honey, before that thing manifests. Because it's like, why would you? Why is this thing in my spirit, Lord? Like, I mean, you already knew it would be 10 years. So why give it to me now? Because he got to keep you, right? Especially like if you hop around like a rabbit all the time. Like you're all over the place. So maybe he have to keep you focused on that thing. Because if not, you go get yourself in trouble every place else. So if I can keep your spirit longing for it, it's something that you know you're working towards. So when I put you in certain seasons to work towards certain things, like to be your character, this, that, and the third, when I put you in certain seasons, at least you can know what you're working towards, and then it makes it all worth it. Okay. Let me give you an example because it's popping up now. Let's just say God promised you a spouse. He put this heavy desire in your heart that he's bringing you a spouse. Let it be a kingdom spouse or kingdom partnerships. Again, everybody's not called to marriage, especially now, honey, because people is refusing it, men and women. I don't know what's going on, but whatever. Kingdom partnerships, destiny helpers, whatever you deem the term to be. He put this heavy desire in your spirit. Matter of fact, you may not have even wanted it yourself. I've been thinking about it, or maybe so, but whatever. Maybe even if it was never your desire, God will change your desire. He will literally change your desire where it aligns with his desire for your life. So he gave you this download 10 years ago, honey. And you're now at, I don't know, year whatever. And this thing is still in your spirit. But this spouse has still not manifested. He may have even shown you this person, or may not. But this desire is still in your spirit, but it makes no sense because a lot of people are refusing to get married now and running away from it. So it's like, God, why would you put this desire in my heart? But nothing, I don't even see a man that I'm even interested in. Why is this desire in my heart? Okay. Now you may hit another season where he have you in that season for 2 years. In that 2 years, he got you building nothing but character, right? To prepare you to be a wife. So he may send you, and these are all examples. He may send you to counseling. That can look like individual counseling to help your childhood traumas. That can look like premarital counseling, even though you don't even, and he'll like, seriously, he'll tell you something like that. Go to, and you're like, but I don't even see a potential. Why am I going to just be obedient? Right? You have to be obedient even when it doesn't make sense. So in each season, he's preparing. So you felt because he gave you the nudge and the conviction that this husband or this wife would manifest 3 months after he gave you the longing for it. No, he just gave you the longing for it so you can know what you're working towards. Because if you don't know what you're working towards, I'm not going, first of all, therapy is difficult. So why am I about to sit here and go dig up some trauma? No, no, no. You know what you're working towards. All right, 2 years, you've mastered your therapy, right? So you think something is coming because the longing is still in your spirit. The next year, now he got you working on, I don't know, purpose and calling somewhere. And you're like, why am I in purpose and calling when I really should be focusing on a spouse? Because when the spouse comes, he's going to tie your purpose and your calling together. So you guys can do destiny, kingdom things, quote unquote, kingdom spouse together. So once you encounter this person, once he brings this person, then you already got you got movement going on. You got motion going on with your purpose and your calling. So you don't have to start from the ground up. Or when God brings this man to you, this man is already well established in his purpose and calling. And you're sitting here like a chicken with your head cut off trying to figure out, I don't even know what purpose and calling is. I don't even know, like, how do I even get in here and help? How do I even, right? So he's building you and he's preparing you. So in different seasons, we go through different things. And then after that, excuse me, you may hit a season that's going to hold you back for a whole year because now the enemy knows that God is preparing you for the spouse. So now he got to do something to keep you from it. So now you hit major warfare, major attacks. So now you're spending a whole year trying to come back up. So you see how it can be so many different things that cause delays before. And also talk about us making our own heads hard. You get tired of waiting. God done told you to remain in the single season, but you ain't got time for that. So you go and encounter a counterfeit. Now you spend another whole year trying to recover from the soul tie of this counterfeit who's a narcissist. And now we're mad with God because God's taking too long. Child, it's a whole zoo. It's a whole zoo, honey. Get in where you fit in. You guys have a great weekend. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.